You know that feeling when you pull a brand new supercomputer out of the box?
Oh, yeah, or even just a fresh smartphone.
Right. You press the power button and it's lightning fast. Every app opens instantly.
The battery seems to last forever.
Exactly. There's this sense of absolute unrestricted capability. Like it can do anything.
There's no lag at all, no, spinning wheel of death. It's a perfectly clean slate.
But then give it a few years. You've downloaded random apps, you've picked up fragmented files.
Maybe a few hidden tracking programs running in the background.
Yeah, exactly. And suddenly that same machine is incredibly sluggish. It crashes when you try to open like a simple PDF.
Right, and the hardware hasn't changed. I mean, the microchips are identical.
Exactly, but the software is totally bogged down by years of accumulated junk.
It's such a powerful metaphor, and it maps perfectly onto what happens to human potential over a lifetime.
And that is exactly what we are getting into today. So welcome to our latest deep dive. Whether you are leading a team, raising a child, or, just trying to figure out your own next big life move, this deep dive is tailored specifically for you, the learner.
We know you're always looking for the signal in the noise.
Always. And today, we have a literal blueprint for unlocking exponential growth. We are going to explore a text by an author named Amar, and it's titled The Seed of Potentiality.
It's a fascinating read.
It really is. Our mission today is to understand the hidden operating system of human intelligence, figure out why it crashes, and learn how to reboot it to achieve a state Amar calls purposehood.
Yeah, it's a profound framework. Amar argues that we don't just arrive in the world as blank slates, not in a passive, empty sense anyway.
Right.
We arrive equipped with this highly advanced evolutionary operating system.
Okay, let's unpack this. Amar calls it the Human Intelligence, or HI, operating system. And at birth, this OS is totally clean.
Completely spotless.
It's ready to accept data through the five senses without any of the pre-installed filters that, slow us down as adults.
It's like your out-of-the-box supercomputer analogy.
Right. It has maximum processing power to alter existence, but it hasn't been bogged down by any bloatware yet.
And what's fascinating here is how Amar visualizes the underlying architecture of this clean operating system. He draws it as a triangle, which he calls the human seed of potentiality.
And the 3 points of this triangle are limitless creativity, infinite desires, and directional choice.
Exactly. Limitless creativity and infinite desires.
Those sound almost rebellious, don't they? Like, as adults, we are constantly taught to temper our desires.
Oh, constantly.
But Amar is saying that for a newborn, these aren't character flaws that need to be managed. They are the essential engines of human evolution.
They are existential necessities. I mean, without that infinite desire to consume information and the limitless creativity to combine it in new ways, the universe literally has no mechanism to expand or add complexity.
That makes sense.
But the real anchor of this triangle, and the part we often misunderstand, is that third point, directional choice.
Right, because we usually think of a child's choices as totally random, like they are just, chaotic agents knocking things over in the living room.
Exactly, just making a mess. But how does the text define directional choice?
Well, directional choice is the innate algorithm that tells a human which path will yield the highest density of new information.
So children aren't acting randomly at all.
Not at all. They are constantly aiming their attention at whatever gives them the most novel data. And to prove this isn't just like philosophical poetry, Amar points to some incredible empirical evidence.
Yeah, that study from MIT and Stanford.
Yes. This study completely shifted how I view toddlers. Walk us through how they set this up.
Okay, so researchers brought in 4- and 5-year-old children and presented them with this custom-built toy.
Okay.
It was machined with different colored beads, and it would only play music if the beads were placed on it in a very specific sequence.
Now, a frustrated adult might just mash all the buttons or, give up if it didn't work immediately.
Well, for sure. But the kids didn't do that.
What did they do?
The researchers observed that the children acted essentially as Bayesian learners, like natural-born scientists.
Wow.
They didn't just randomly throw beads at the toy. When a certain combination failed to produce music, they discarded that hypothesis.
So they systematically tested different combinations.
Exactly. Isolating variables until they unlock the music.
So mechanically, what does that prove about their operating system?
It proves that children naturally make decisions based on the potential for gaining new information. They are hardwired to seek out data.
They just ignored the actions that gave zero results.
Right. They instinctively focused their directional choice on the experiments that provided feedback. Their infinite desire and limitless creativity are directly focused on evolution.
Okay, so if we all start with this brilliant hardware, this scientific drive to learn and grow, why do so many of us end up feeling stuck?
We're directionless.
Yeah, running the spinning wheel of death in our own careers and relationships.
Well, that brings us to the lifespan of the operating system, moving from the purity of the hardware to the corruption of the software.
The bloatware.
Exactly. As Amar explains, because humans have such a long developmental period, children are born entirely dependent on their guardians for survival.
Right.
And those guardians, along with society at large, hold the power to either nourish that seed of potentiality or restrict it.
And this is where the bloatware gets installed. Amar describes these restrictions as social and physical viruses.
Virus, yeah.
In an ideal world, the data inputted into a child's brain would be as pure as the fresh waters of Porto Williams.
Instead, it gets colluded.
Exactly. We absorb viruses in the form of limiting beliefs, labels, and, rigid expectations. These filters actually kill potentiality just to protect the status quo.
But wait, I have to challenge this concept of the virus for a second. Is it really just individual Karens making mistakes, or is this a systemic issue? It's highly systemic. Amar addresses this by looking at the macro level. He provides this really powerful historical example of how a widespread limiting belief can act as a catastrophic societal virus.
Okay, what's the example?
For centuries, there was this pervasive, socially and religiously enshrined belief across many cultures that females were less capable humans.
Restricted basically only to domestic roles.
Exactly. And just to report Amar's analysis impartially here, the text points out that by passing down this specific label, generation after generation, society actively suppressed half of humanity's potentiality.
Half of the entire human processing power.
Right. From a purely operational standpoint, this limiting belief was an enormous drag on the collective human operating system.
Because half of your supercomputers are running on incredibly restrictive bloatware.
Exactly. And Amar notes that it took massive tragic disruptions to the status quo, specifically the global necessity for labor during the world wars to finally break those specific limiting beliefs. The systemic shock forced society to open up opportunities and accept new roles for women. The text uses this to show just how deeply ingrained and destructive these systemic viruses can be.
It's staggering to think about the sheer volume of genius that was just left unrealized because of a software glitch society refused to fix.
For centuries, yeah.
So knowing that these viruses are out there in the world, how do we protect the clean OS of the next generation?
Well, we have to transition from the problem, the viruses, to the solution, the champions.
And Amar uses this American football analogy, right?
He does. Picture the young child, the natural-born scientist, as the quarterback.
Okay.
The quarterback is holding the ball of hope, trying to move it toward the end zone of possibilities.
But on the other side is the opposing team, the limiting beliefs, societal pressures, the attackers.
Exactly. Their goal is to tackle the quarterback before they can even make a play.
So the parents, teachers, and society must act as the offensive line.
Right. Blocking those attackers and buying the quarterback time to play, fail, experiment, and create.
Here's where it gets really interesting. While reading the text, there is a historical example Amar used for this offensive lineman concept that it completely stopped me in my tracks.
Oh, the story of Maria Mendeley.
Yes. She was the ultimate offensive lineman.
It's an incredible story.
She is the mother of Dmitri Mendeleev, the guy who invented the periodic table.
Right.
But this wasn't some comfortable upbringing. Maria had 17 children.
17, wow.
Yeah, and they lived in this remote, freezing village in Siberia. First, her husband loses his sight and his teaching job. Then, her family's only source of income, a glass factory, burns to the ground.
Talk about attackers overrunning the backfield.
Exactly. The sheer weight of poverty and tragedy was overwhelming. And then her husband passes away.
That's just devastating.
She could have easily just pulled Dmitri out of school and focused on basic survival, let his seed of potentiality just freeze in that icy village.
But she didn't.
No, she recognized his genius. When he was 16, she dragged him all the way to Moscow to get a university education.
And he was rejected.
Yeah, it was rejected. But she still doesn't stop blocking. She drags him even further to St. Petersburg.
In that era. That's incredible.
She fights until she gets him accepted, sacrifices everything, and literally dies shortly after securing his education.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, without Maria fiercely blocking those attackers of poverty and circumstance, Dimitri's operating system would have been shut down.
Completely.
Humanity would have lost his genius. We gained a foundational building block of science because one guardian refused to let the bloatware install.
It gives you chills.
It really does.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? We've talked about kids and parents, but what about adults?
How do adults uninstall the viruses they inherited?
Exactly. Amar argues that while you are the product of your guardians initially, once you're old enough to develop your own beliefs, the responsibility is entirely yours.
You can't blame the offensive line forever.
Right. The code for the original HI operating system is still inside you. The goal is to orient yourself toward what Ammar calls your purposehood guiding star.
Yeah.
It's kind of like realizing the prison door has been unlocked the whole time, and the shackles are just ghosts of other people's expectations.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And there's a final crucial piece from Ammar's text here. Interconnectedness.
Oh, right.
You can't just fix your own OS. You must unleash the seeds of those in your extensions of being.
What does he mean by extensions of being?
Well, the text uses this metaphor. Can a tree grow to its full potential if the whole forest is blanketed with harmful gases from a coal plant?
Oh, definitely not. It breathes what the forest breathes.
Exactly. So a simple positive word or a smile of gratitude can actually be the domino that removes a limiting belief for someone else in your forest.
You're upgrading the whole network.
Precisely.
Okay, let's wrap this up. Your mission, the learner, is threefold. Grow your own seed, nourish the seeds of the children in your care, and unleash the seeds of others.
It's all connected. And Ammar leaves the reader with this really calming, grounding mantra at the end of the text. It goes, I breathe in purposehood. I breathe out potentiality.
I breathe in purposehood. I breathe out potentiality. Such a great reset button.
It really is.
Well, I want to leave you, the listener, with a final question to mull over. If you successfully identified and uninstalled just one limiting belief or inherited label today.
Just one.
Yeah, just one. What brand new software would you finally have the processing power to run?
That is a great question to end on.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We respect your time and celebrate your curiosity. Keep debugging that code, and we'll catch you next time.